Hey, what's up? It's your host, Tori, and who is ready to be petty? Happy Easter, everyone. I hope you are having a great long weekend. I'm excited for today's episode. I talk with Lisa from the Lisa Rants podcast about Cinnamon Toast Crunch Guy, which, roll my eyes. And we discuss Kylie's statement about her GoFundMe scandal. And then finally, we do a deep dive into season 5 of Summer House. It's one of my favorite TV shows right now. We also recorded this before the last episode aired, so I do add my thoughts to the end of the episode. It is episode 9. Okay, let's get to the show. I'm back with a very special guest. Lisa from the Lisa Rants podcast is here. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks so much for having me back. I'm so excited. I'm doing really well.
Good. I'm glad. You were last on RTBP in August of 2020.
Wow. Yeah. It doesn't even feel like that long ago.
I know. It feels like a really short time, but also like forever ago.
True.
What's been new with you?
Yeah. Still just ranting on my own podcast. And I'm actually starting like these virtual events for my podcast, and I actually was going to invite you later, but so I don't know, just kind of like expanding, just still ranting, having fun. And I recently moved into my first place, so that's exciting as well. So
that's very exciting. And tell me more about these virtual things. I saw this on your social media, but tell us more.
Oh yeah, thanks. So it's a virtual community circle, and I feel like on my podcast, like the Lisa Rants podcast, I just go on rants like by myself, but I kind of just want to like connect everyone and kind of just like provide like a safe space for people to rant. We talk about different subjects and kind of like do some of my favorite techniques like visualization, meditation, talk to each other, like have fun, be silly, like just have a blast and really just connect with others. Because obviously this past year, like it's been hard for people to connect and find people who are like-minded. So I just wanted to create something that could bring people together.
I love that. And I don't have a lot of like experience with visualization, which seems silly, or like meditation really. So this is like interesting to me.
Yeah. Like once I started like incorporating it into my life, I'm like, wait, this stuff works. And I'm like, I love it.
Totally. And we're going to talk about Summer House, and Paige and Hannah are really into like manifestation and stuff like that. So maybe there'll be some tie-ins.
Yeah, maybe. Well, let's get into it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Kylie Jenner and her makeup artist and like the most controversial GoFundMe ever. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch scandal. And then, of course, Summer House. I'm so excited to talk about Summer House because I don't get to talk about it a lot. And I just binged the first 2 seasons this year because I had only watched seasons 3 to 5. So I'm just really excited to talk about it. So first we have Kylie Jenner. So I talked about this last week on my podcast, which apparently was a hot take because I got a bunch of messages about it, which I don't always like love.
Yeah, it's very controversial, but I'm glad that she was able to kind of like clear it up. Even just to go back, like I actually like Kylie Jenner. Like I genuinely think, I mean, I don't know. I don't find her like super problematic. I actually genuinely think she's like pretty mature. She doesn't really do anything bad to anyone, and she's like super generous with her friends. So that's why when I first heard about this, I was kind of like it doesn't really seem like Kylie, I was kind of like wanting an explanation because I know how selfless Kylie is. Like she always, like she bought, when her and Jordan were friends, she bought her a car. Like, you know what I mean? Like
right.
She's not like this person who would just like scam people, in my opinion. I don't know her personally, but I just follow like her whole clan, and like she's always doing stuff for them like monetarily. So first I saw it on Twitter, and obviously Twitter, it's like, no, I don't believe, like, because people always try to find something wrong with the Kardashians. And I was like, I didn't believe it. And then I went on social media and I saw it for myself and I was like, ooh, Kylie, what are you doing? Like,
I
this looks
know.
so bad. Like, it looks so bad. What did you feel about her statement?
Yeah, so she released a statement. Well, like it was an Instagram story. It's like
Yeah.
statement
I know,
in
right?
quotes.
Like the notes app, like the apologies people do.
Exactly. I did feel bad for her because this was a person that she hadn't worked with or seen in many years, which I don't think was like told outright from my understanding. I don't want to backpedal on what I said. I do still think like people with this amount of wealth should be giving it away. And we're going to talk about that in a bit because I don't know if you have the same opinion as me. I just feel like it seemed more of like a random person than the first initial like story led to believe, where it was like it's her makeup artist. And I knew it wasn't Ariel.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, well, they probably have like multiple people and blah blah blah. But when she was like, yeah, I haven't like seen or worked with this person for 5 years, I was like, oh, I kind of feel bad about that. The other thing is that apparently the original GoFundMe was for $10,000.
Yeah.
And she completed their goal.
No, that's the part where I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, if the goal was 60,000 and she just like didn't pay it, like that would be like another story, but the goal was only 10,000. Like, I didn't know that. And obviously the narrative got switched. So when she explained that, I was like, oh, okay, no big deal. But yeah, obviously it opens up still a bigger conversation in general of just like, should she have paid it? Or like, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Because I was like, it looks so like shystery if the goal is 60,000 and the person's at like 10,000 or whatever, and she's like, here's $5,000, and where she could just like easily contribute the whole thing.
Yeah, just cover the whole thing. I'm like, Kylie, you literally have bags worth more than that. Like shoes.
Yes.
Like you're the ring on your finger right now is probably worth way more than that. And it was like, that's why I was just kind of like obviously before she like apologized, it wasn't even an apology, I don't even know, but when it first came out, I was like, that is literally so awful and embarrassing that you're asking us peasants to pay this man's bill. And I just like, I literally knew there had to be some type of explanation because I was like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, I think you actually brought up a really good point that I straight up did not think about. And I probably was like pretty scathing towards her. I don't mind her either. I think I have a soft spot for the Kardashians.
Same.
So I feel like I give them a pass when they often don't deserve a pass. But I think she's a really good mom. And I think she also is mature, and like she has had like hiccups, and I don't agree with everything she does. But yeah, I generally think she's like an okay person.
I mean, just like not even just like a good person in the world, but I think with her friends and her like posse, she always treats them like very well. So that is where I was like, I don't know if I believe the story, because I feel like Kylie would like literally do anything for like her 5 friends, because she's like really weird about like her friendships and stuff. So
I think that's a good point, because I think that what we've learned over the years with the Kardashians is that they're super generous.
Yeah.
Like that they're always giving people like not just monetary gifts, etc., but like opportunities, and they're always like supporting their friends, like even just like promoting their friends' other products or whatever. So I probably jumped on her like a little too hard.
No, I mean, you were totally right, because it's like, obviously without the context, like that was horrible. Like let's just say that what it was like really happened. That's horrible. Like, pay it, Kylie. Like, why are you gonna like put it? Can you guys please don't? No, like you donate. Like, don't ask us to donate. Like, that is literally insane. So I'm glad she cleared it up. I do think, even though she cleared it up, she still should not have posted it, period. Like, I have conflicting feelings about it. Like, should she have posted it? Should she have not? Like, if she already hit the goal,
Why would she post it?
yeah, like why post it? But at the same time, she also, with her outreach, it gave people like, it gave them like what, 10 times the amount that they originally needed.
Totally.
So it's not a bad thing, but yeah, I just don't really know like what her like motive was, or like why she thought that was like a good thing to do. Because even if she wanted them to have more money, she could have just donated them more money. Like, oh, here's an extra 50K while you're at it, you know?
Yes, yes. Because I think what happened, and maybe this is also a misunderstanding, but like they set the goal at $10,000, but then they're like, oh my gosh, there's going to be so much more of a cost associated with his recovery, so we need to like up the goal. I don't like the part of her posting it. Like, she could have definitely posted like about her friend without linking it. It's like hard to say, because it's like,
yeah,
the people that are seeing that are people like us that can't, like, not assuming anything about you, but like
no,
they
like,
can't, like us
yeah,
normies that like
yeah,
aren't gonna contribute to like a random person's GoFundMe.
right.
And like I feel like a lot of her fans skew really young, like 16, 17, 18, and I wouldn't want them to feel pressured to pay anything. But then it's like, it's hard also, because you're right, it brought so much more awareness. But
Yeah.
it's like, was it creating awareness amongst the right group of people, or could she have just sent that to her other wealthy friends?
Yeah. I saw this like argument on Twitter. Someone was like, just because she posted, it's not like she's forcing people to do it. Which I thought was valid, but I do think that like obviously there's people who are like diehard like Kylie Jenner fans, and like I don't know, there's people out there who are like really weird, and people who probably like can't pay their rent, but they're like, Kylie's asking me to do this, and so I'm gonna, and it's like, you know, like there are just very impressionable people out there, and it's just kind of like, Kylie, again, you know that you, even if you met the goal, but you still wanted to help him out more, then you should have done that privately. Like you should have just sent him an extra 50K and just covered his bills if you felt that strongly about it. But I think what she was trying to do was trying to show like weird, like performative, like support. And I think the only weird part about her statement was the fact that she tried to like really make it clear that they're like not friends.
Yeah.
And that's what was weird. I mean, like, I understand why she did it, because it was like, it's not like this is like my close friend who like, like I get like why she said it, but at the same time, it's like people donate to people, random people all the time. Like you don't have to know someone to like want to donate. So it was just a bad move on her part. She didn't really think through what she was doing, but I think, you know, her statement kind of cleared it up. I mean, I felt better about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Kylie, like I don't think you were trying to be an asshole, but you know, it didn't land well. So
totally. Yeah, I really think that's what it was. Do you think that celebrities should be like donating more of their wealth to these types of things?
I struggle with this a lot, and I might have an unpopular opinion, because I had this huge like kind of debate with my friends about like Jeff Bezos, and like they feel very strongly that like billionaires should not exist. And of course it's like, and sorry I keep cursing, but I curse a lot.
Don't
like,
worry.
obviously like no one fucking needs $1 billion, but at the same time it's like, it's weird because it's like we're kind of raised to feel like the sky's the limit, right? Like you can make whatever money you want to make as long as you work hard. And granted, most people don't work hard for $1 billion, but like who's to say, like how do we put a cap like on how much people make? And then it's like one of those things where I think about like, okay, like I have $100 in my pocket and I walk down the street and I see like a homeless guy and like he asked me for money. Am I obligated to give him money? And it's one of those things, and like I personally, in my heart, I like to donate stuff, but you can't force people to do it. And so it's like, it's this weird thing of like, should people have $1 billion? Probably not. Like no one needs to be that rich, but it is theirs. Do they have to give it away? Technically, no. But like, it's actually just when you like, I saw this TikTok and it was like, they had like this bag of rice and they poured it out and they were like 1 grain of rice is like $10,000 or something. And they were like saying like this huge pile of rice is how much Jeff Bezos has. And then it's like 1 grain of rice is like how much like a normal person has, like something weird like that. And it was like putting it in visual perspective. It was like, what, like, holy shit. Like, and literally like Jeff Bezos could give off like 5% of his money and literally like change the world. Like if he donated that to like every person in the world, like, you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
if he donated like just even a small portion of his income, it would just like help so many people. So it makes you wonder, like, the good that you could do with all that money. It does seem very greedy when people have a lot of money and they just like keep it for themselves. It's like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, why don't you try to make a difference? Like, you have so much power. Why don't you try to make things better for people? So that's just kind of like how, like, of course it's their money, they don't have to donate it, but it's kind of like just being a human and having a moral conscience. Like, you don't need that much money to live. Like, that is insane. So I personally feel like, and I always say to myself, like, if I ever got super rich, I would still not buy like a $10,000 Coke, or like, because it's just like, that's like weird to me. Like, I just don't see why anything needs to cost that much money when like I could give $10,000 to a family struggling and they would like literally, it would change their whole life, you know? And I think that people, like rich people, just get really lost in like the sauce. No, I don't know. Like, they just like don't realize, like, they're not aware of like how hard it is out here, like how much the $100 they just spent would mean to someone else, you know? So
totally,
they're just really out of touch, and it's unfortunate. So it's like, yeah, no one has to give away their money. Like, of course they don't have to, but you would think that they would want to.
I'm really on the same page as you. Is like, technically, yes, it is theirs and they don't have to give it away. And like, when we talk about billionaires' net worth, like, I understand that that's like tied up in like companies and investments, and like, it's not just sitting in their bank account per se where they can just like immediately give it away. Like, I totally understand that, but yeah, it's so hard when I feel like the world's billionaires, like, it's usually they're getting rich off of the backs of minoritized groups.
Yeah,
they could just give it away. And it could fix so many things, because I think people don't realize that, or I guess people do realize it, but like, having a stable income can just alleviate so many stresses and like worries and stuff like that. So yeah, I would hope that people want to give it away. And you're totally right. Like, it's tough to see some of these things, I think, when it's like Kylie Jenner's giving away $5,000, which is huge, to people like us, and then you see like her $100,000 car, and like 100,000 is probably a low estimate. So
yeah,
if I was a celebrity and I had a platform and I had a lot of money, like, I would want to help out other people and like my family and friends. And not saying that she doesn't, but it is really hard to look at when you see like her cars and her purses and her houses, and then like people that work for her or are associated with her, like struggling to pay for a surgery because he got into a car accident. And I don't know the ins and outs of his situation, but I also like, having those types of surgeries can like bankrupt people in the States, at least. In Canada, it's like maybe a little bit of a different story. If you have if you have insurance, I don't know the ins and outs per se, but like, I don't know, I just would be so scared to like live if I just had this constant threat. Or like, some people just don't go to the hospital or the doctor or whatever if they don't think they could afford it. And like, that's so wild of a concept to me. Like, it's just so heartbreaking, and something that really, if I was a billionaire, that I would want to change.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I do think, again, not to stand up for the rich or anything, but I think it is a slippery slope. Like, I'm trying to think about being Kylie. I think she's always like someone who feels like we're going like really deep on this topic too, but I feel like she always feels like people are like trying to use her. Like, I can't imagine having that much money and like trying to be like a normal person, because people are always going to try to ask you for money. Like, and if she would just give money away all the time, then it's like people would just start looking at her like she was a bank. They'd be like, oh, can you donate to this? Can you donate to that? Can you donate? And again, like, she could do that, but it's like, next thing you know, people would just be look at her like, okay, I'm just gonna try to use her for money. And so it's like money is such a like it's such a necessary evil sometimes, and people who have it, they don't know what to do with it, and people are always trying to get to the person who has, like, it's just a mess. So it's honestly damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I think that when you have the means and you really care about something and care about a cause, you should definitely try to help. Because again, if you're willing to spend $300,000 on a Rolls Royce custom leather, pink leather, and all that crazy stuff she has, you can donate to this guy's brain surgery that you met. Like,
yes.
He did your makeup, he had your face beat for your 10 million likes on Instagram. Like, I think you can give like 100K to him, you know? So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just a mess, but she's still young. Hopefully she figures it out.
She is young, and like this is probably a blip of a scandal that she'll have. But that is a really good point. Like, this is also a person that's like probably contributed to you amassing that amount of wealth, because you're right. He was doing her makeup, for which she'll take pictures for, and which she'll sell stuff for, etc. So
yeah,
like, he is one of the people that is like contributing to that. And I also get that, like, of it's probably tough to have real relationships when in the back of your head you're always thinking like, is this person just using me for money and stuff? Like, I also I don't understand that, but I could see that could be difficult. But I just feel like also at Kylie's like tax bracket, it's like she's the type of person that could give away millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars and still be covered for the rest of her life, living in a very plush circumstance. I think that's like another thing is like,
like how much money is enough, you know?
Yeah. Like, we can't even imagine how much this is. Because I've never even seen wealth like this, like in real life. So anyways, all the best to Sam.
I wish him the best.
So the other thing that like blew up on Twitter this week was the Cinnamon Toast Crunch scandal. And if you are out of the loop, basically this person, Jensen Karp, who's married to Topanga from Boy Meets World, found shrimp tails in a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And then obviously like he tweeted about it. What did you think of this?
Oh my God, Tori, I was following this so closely. Like, I thought it was the funniest thing. And it was just like on my timeline. And I just like went down the rabbit hole on this whole thing. And I am literally repulsed because he posted a photo of like, he just kind of like poured out the bag and it was just like these two shrimp tails. And it's like, wait, what? Can you imagine if you saw that in your cereal? And it was so like, and, you know, I've worked in social media marketing before, and I worked for a brand, and it was like, I know that it's just like some person who has to like answer this. And it's like, how the hell do you answer to that? But they gave like the worst, like that was something where you need to call in like the CEO. Like that's not something where you just give like a generic response. And like the response was just like, oh, sorry that happened. Like, let us know like the barcode and DM us and we can send you a new box. Like, and it's like, wait, no, like this is literally like such a big, like this is disgusting. And like for reference, like I bought this bag of like St. July chips and it was like jalapeno lime. And when I got it, there was like no seasoning on it. Like it was like I got this weird malfunctioned like chips and it like they just had no flavor. It was just like a corn chip with like nothing on it. So I tweeted them and I was like, like what's happening? They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then they're like that was like, they explained to me what happened. They sent me a letter. They sent me a coupon. They sent me 3 bags of chips. And like, it was like this whole thing. So the fact that Cinnamon Toast Crunch was literally just like, I wonder what happened there. Like mine was just like a lack of seasoning. His was literally contaminated by like shellfish, which is literally disgusting. Like someone ate it and just like left the tails in somewhere in the factory. Like that is so gross and like could have actually really harmed someone who was allergic, you know, had a severe who had a severe shellfish allergy. And like that's very serious. And so not only was the response like weird, and then he posted like the DM with Cinnamon Toast Crunch and they were just like, oh, we're gonna like review this. And he's like, what is there to review? Like, look, like there are clearly. And then I think he tweeted at them again with like a very close picture of like, look, everyone, like these are literally shrimp tails. And they were just like, oh, after examination, they are actually like clumps of sugar and cinnamon.
Yeah.
And that's where I lost my mind. Because I was like, everyone's watching this and now you're going to publicly tweet and gaslight him and tell him that it's literally not a shrimp tail when it's clearly a shrimp tail. And I was like, I cannot. Who is running this account? Like, why did they think that was a good idea? It was just so crazy and bizarre.
It was such a bad response to something that's like, you're right, like actually so gross. Of all things, shrimp tails has to be like one of the top like most disgusting things you could ever find in a cereal box.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine that is like truly a nightmare. And then I'm pretty sure he also posted, and like there was also like weird dark like black spots and then like a little piece of string or something.
Yes, I saw that too. Yeah, it was like, what happened in this batch? Like, I'm literally disgusted. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if people just like stopped buying cinnamon. Like, I don't even know. Like, if the fact that they weren't apologetic or trying to fix it was like really bizarre. I don't know if they were trying to cover it up and just be like, oh no, that's not what happened. But it's like, it clearly happened. Like, it's out there. Like, at this point, thousands of people are like watching this unfold very closely. And the fact that they tried to take it back and just be like, no, we examined this and it's just sugar. It's like, what?
It's so bad because I understand how like sugar can crystallize like that, but I was like, this isn't that. Like, it's just, and the picture was in like, I was gonna say 3D, but obviously not 3D. No, yeah. The quality of the picture was like perfect. Like it was like portrait mode.
It was very clearly a shrimp tail with some cinnamon and sugar on it, but like it wasn't just a clump of cinnamon sugar. Oh my god.
Did you immediately think like this is real, like that he actually found them, or do you think like the first time I saw it I was like, I kind of feel like this guy just put them there and like tossed them up in the bag and just like wanted to do it out of attention. I don't That was my first thought. As the internet, like everything's not real.
Yeah. Honestly, I fully believed it at first. Like, I don't know why. I'm very gullible anyways, but I mean, I feel like from my experience, I just know that like things can just get like with the chips, even though it's like literally not the same thing, but it's like things can get like messed up in factories and stuff. So I just fully believed it. And I was like, ew, like, oh my God. Like I was just freaking out. So, but then obviously like as the tweets came in, people were like, this is fake, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, that is so random. Like,
I know
it's honestly too random to be fake. Like, who is like eating shrimp and they're like, let's put this in the cinnamon box and pretend that we like, that is so bizarre. Like, honestly, if he really thought of that, like, kudos to him, because it was a great social media strategy and he blew up and went viral. If that was what he was trying to do, it worked. But honestly, it's honestly too bizarre to believe. Like, if he would have just said like the argument of like, oh, there was like a rubber band in there, and or like okay, like that probably happens. But shrimp tails, like that is so crazy that like it has to be real. Like, there's no way.
I know. You know? I did think that too. So he gained 100,000 followers because of this, and that was like the one time I was like, yeah, could this just be a ploy? Because he is like in the entertainment business. I don't know why. Like a lot of times with like YouTubers or people in entertainment, I'm like, well, this couldn't happen to them because they're doing it for the views. like random things wouldn't happen to them just because they could like profit off of it. But true, obviously like things happen to everybody, so that doesn't totally make sense. But yeah, it was really random, and I don't think Cinnamon Toast Crunch like handled it particularly well, but who knows if it's true. He seems annoying. A bunch of this is going to turn dark, but a bunch of like allegations about him being like an abusive partner and creating like a toxic work environment came out, and then he has gone silent and has not said anything since that has kind of blown up.
Yeah, I mean, with that evidence, honestly, it's kind of like, okay, maybe he did make this all up, and clearly he's like a narcissist, and he's literally, is he still actually married to Topanga, or like?
Yes.
That's so weird.
It's so weird because she seems so lovely, and this guy again seems really weird. So this Jensen used to be like a rapper and had a popular rap career in like the early 2000s. And then he like released a book, and then he has this podcast, and then he married Topanga, and they have like a 2-year-old.
Okay. Yeah. As you paint the story, I'm like, all right, this is someone who really likes attention. So
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. And then I was thinking, I was like, did I think this was fake before I heard about these allegations or after? And like, I think it did cross my mind because I'm like, I never want to be the person like fooled by something on the internet. So I'm like, it always crosses my mind that it's fake, but like, I don't know. Yeah. It just seems like
I was fooled. I was just like, I was like, this is crazy. Shame on them. That's disgusting. Yeah. So I mean, well, actually, now that you like bring all of that up, like all that evidence, I'm like, okay, like if it probably was fake, but at the same time, it's like, so I'm wondering if like Cinnamon Toast Crunch knew that like they monitor their employees so fiercely, and they knew that like that was not a possibility like at all. Because honestly, like it probably isn't, because it's like, why would someone just have 2 shrimp in the like, you know what like when you really think about it, it doesn't really make sense, but like shit happens. So like I was just fully prepared to believe it. But no, but like obviously like they probably have them like wash their hands, put on all this sanitary stuff before they even enter the facility. So yeah, I mean, Cinnamon Toast Crunch was probably like, okay, we're gonna just say that like that's not what it is, because like there's no way that that's what it is. But they could have had a stronger, they should have just been like, you know, that's we monitor our employees, and we don't believe that this could be possible, but we'll look into it for you. It's like they could have had a better response than trying to just brush it off and say it's sugar, because that's where they lost me.
Yeah, like I don't know how this would happen, because you're right, like shrimp tails isn't a common lunch. Like who's eating shrimp on their lunch break and then like accidentally dropping it into a box of cereal? I don't know. Right. But weirder things have happened. Like this type of shit happens. And sometimes, again, maybe it's me, because I am so grossed out by this type of shit. Like I hate weird like food things. But like I also am forcing myself to believe that factories have like a very high tolerance, like that they're not making mistakes like this, because I don't want to be the one eating fucking shrimp cereal.
That's how I felt. I was just like, ew, 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 ew. Like I cannot fathom that. And like, I know, even just thinking about what could have been in other things that I've bought, and I'm just like, oh no. Yeah, but again, I think I was just quick to believe it, just because I did have that weird incident with the chips that just like had no flavor or seasoning on them, but I'm just like, how did you guys mess this up? So
and
I don't know.
That has happened. Like a similar thing happened to me where I was eating like protein bars, and I had like a pack of them. And I think it was the whole pack. I remember at least 1 or 2, but they didn't like mix the salt in. They were like extremely salty, and they were like protein bars I like chocolate chip or whatever that I would buy all the time. And so I'm like, I know that it's not supposed to taste like this. Like, I do know that those mistakes happen. So are you a Cinnamon Toast Crunch fan? Like, are you sworn off the cereal?
No, I actually never really ate it too much. I do like it, but I never like bought it for myself, because it's just like too sugary. But I'm not gonna lie, it does like turn me off, because like,
I know
it just sucks for everyone involved, but definitely that social media person needs to be fired. So that's all I gotta say.
Totally.
If it was fake or not, either way, they did not handle it correctly. They did not put me at ease with your brand. I'm sorry.
No. Like I haven't had Cinnamon Toast Crunch in like probably 3 or 4 years. But I still like, if it was offered to me today, I would like probably decline. Like I still am like weird about it. So.
Right? I'm like, is there any shrimp in here?
Yeah. Let's talk about Summer House.
Yes, I'm excited.
When did you start watching Summer House?
I would say about 3 or 4 seasons. What season are we on now?
This is 5.
Oh, okay. I think only the past 3 I've like fully watched. I started watching when Kyle and Amanda like were together and like the whole cheating thing happened. I think that was when I started. So like the past 3 seasons I've been watching.
Yeah, so you probably watched 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And that's when I started too, because seasons 1 and 2 there was like a different cast.
Yeah, the blonde women. I see like clips of them, but I think I need, because you told me that you watched seasons 1 and 2, and I think I need to like watch it kind of to get the.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Wait, where did you watch it? Or like what platform is it on?
I watched it on Hey You. I think it's just a Canadian streaming service, but that's how I watch all of the Bravo TV shows, because I don't have a TV and I don't have Bravo. So
yeah,
it's really good. It has like Entertainment TV shows and then Bravo. And the first 2 seasons are really good because it explains like what a summer house is and how they like rent them, and it also introduces Kyle and Amanda, Lindsay, Carl, and
so Amanda was involved season 1.
Yes,
she was like the girl who was just like hooking up with Kyle.
Yes, and it's so interesting to see their relationship. It was like they liked each other and they were like kind of dating, and then they broke up for the summer, and then he kept calling her because he liked her, and then they got together like full time. But it's a really good fun TV show, and this season I think it's been really different, but it's been good. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been really different but really good. It's just crazy this year. And obviously like they filmed it during COVID, like in the summer, and obviously they had to like, they're literally living together full time for 6 weeks. And I think what's interesting about the Summer House cast is that it was always very like random. Like none of them are like really friends. They kind of just like come to the Summer House and they like have to interact with each other. Like there's a lot of different cliques within the house. And I think the fact that they had to literally just like live together for 6 weeks straight, like that's why we're seeing such explosive things happening, because it's like any tension that you've ever had is going to get exposed. Like you're not just having fun and getting drunk for the weekend and going back home. Like you're literally living and working and cleaning and all this stuff with these people. And it's just been so crazy to see like the dynamics.
Yeah, that's true, because, and for those who don't watch the TV show, they work in New York City during like Monday to Friday, and then they go to the Hamptons Saturday, Sunday. And you're totally right. Like in the normal seasons, they rarely see each other during the week, because they're like hustling. They're like New York like business people. Oh
my god, and I thought that was so cool. I was like I want to be a part of this lifestyle.
I know. I like straight up couldn't. I don't know if it's because and like I'm like smack dab like age wise. There's like the girls that are a few years. No, I think that they're all around my age. I think Paige and Hannah are around my age now that I think about it. And then there's like Kyle, who's 40. But I'm like, how do you drink so much Friday and Saturday and like rally during the day? Like I just don't understand. And do that for like 13 weekends straight.
I know, because it's literally like you work a night like 9 to 5, and then it's like literally Friday right after work they get in a car and they go like they drive all the way to the Hamptons and they just party all weekend. I'm like, are you not exhausted? Like
I know, like it seems so exhausting. And like spoiler alert, it could be because of drug use. I was like doing like a Reddit like absolute deep dive. This is like one of the TV shows that I love to go on Reddit for, because it's weirdly not discussed a lot. Like I was even looking up podcasts to listen to, like
about,
detailing,
yeah,
and recapping Summer House, and there like straight up isn't one. There's
dude,
Bravo
yeah.
ones.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, do you watch Summer House? They're like, what's that? Like, they don't even know what it is. I'm like, this is literally the
No.
best show ever. Like,
Yes.
why don't people know about it? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so weird. So I just like love talking to other people about it because I just don't get that normally. But yeah,
Yeah.
it could very well be like drug use, but it's
Mm-hmm.
wild that they can just like rally. But this
Mm-hmm.
season they are stuck in one house and they're like obviously working from home
Yeah.
and they don't leave. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about the previous seasons and like they would go out for dinner. Some
Yep.
of them would
Go to
stay
the club.
home, go
Yeah.
to the club, sleep at other people's houses, like
Yeah. They were not in each other's space like
at
really that much
all.
at all. Yeah.
And
They
now
would
they're
just
just like
sleep together.
constantly.
Yep.
Yes, yes. So I just think that like that is kind of one of the reasons that it's like so explosive this season. And I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about that. Like they're like, why is this season have so many fights and stuff? And why are people getting on each other's nerves? I'm like,
That's why.
because yeah, it's like they're constantly with each other.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first big fights of the season was between Hannah and Kyle. What did you think of that? Did you think their argument was really about trash?
I actually do think it was about trash. Like, so, I mean, not to like backtrack, but like Hannah's character development is like, whew, it's a lot. I have personally not been able to like really stand her this season, like at all. And mind you, like I've kind of seen like I liked Hannah and Paige like last season.
Yeah.
I still like Paige. And I think this past year, they started like the Giggly Squad and their podcast. And like what really got Hannah's head big was when she went on the Call Her Daddy podcast.
Yes.
She went on that podcast and everyone loved her and she got mad followers and now she thinks her shit don't stink. And it's really apparent on the show and it's actually insane like how she's acting. And I do think she's like kind of like putting on like I don't even know what she's doing, but it's just like so absurd. And I'm like, I just can't even stand it anymore. Like I thought Hannah was cool because I thought she was like a really confident person, but now it's just very like her ego is just out of control and I just like can't even deal with it. So like as far as the fight's concerned, it was literally just like Kyle's like, hey, like I think is he like a Capricorn, I think. So I looked up all of their signs. There's literally like 4 Leos in the house. Like it's like insane.
Oh my
like,
God.
I don't even know how
That's
they
chaotic.
can like it's very chaotic. But anyways, I think Kyle's like he's very like he's crazy, but he's also like type A and controlling. So the fact that like Hannah wasn't doing shit, like I know for a fact, because I'm like kind of that type of person too. Like I know his blood was boiling. So he literally was just trying to say, like, hey, like we literally are working our asses off, like actual 9 to 5s. You guys literally barely have jobs. And you could at least like take out the garbage like you said you were going to. And then Hannah's like, don't talk to me like that. Like she gets so triggered and she's like, she always takes low blows at their relationship. And it's like, it's actually bizarre. And it's like, I feel like you have some underlying feelings about Amanda and Kyle that you need to sort out. And it's actually really embarrassing because like Amanda's like always kind to you. Like,
yes.
I just feel really bad. Like, and that friendship is just really toxic. And I don't know, I could go on for Hannah for a while. So you steer me in the right direction, but I could just keep going because I've just seen so many things about Hannah this season I don't like. So
yeah,
you know what side I'm on. So.
No, I am totally on your side too. Like Hannah was probably my favorite in seasons 3 and 4, maybe not even 4, maybe just 3. But I was like listening to her podcast, Burning in Hell, and I listened to the first like 3 episodes of Giggly Squad before like the Giggly Squad scandal happened.
Yeah.
I do think that this is the season that she realized like, okay, this is a TV show. We need to like create drama. And she didn't realize that like the drama that just naturally unfolded without you trying too hard. It was like they realized they were on a TV show. And she was like, we need to like step it up and we just need to, and like look where it's getting her. Like, it's weird though, because she's the most talked about person on the TV show. And you're right, her fame has like surpassed like Kyle and Amanda's, which probably pisses off Kyle and Carl, etc., because they are like the OG cast members. But like, it is not good press. Like, all press is good press. Not in this case.
Yeah.
Like, she is getting roasted like literally everywhere. And I think that she thought this was like a good career move to like just ramp up the drama, but it's going in the exact like opposite direction.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what got into her head or why she thought like acting like that was gonna like make us like her. I don't know. I don't really see Kyle and Carl really being like, I don't see them really caring about her success. Like, I know for myself, I see people drink Loverboy where I'm from all the time. Like, they're
wild.
They're like successful. I can never get my hands on it. Like literally, like Kyle talking about it on the show, he's like, we don't have enough. Like, they literally don't have enough like for demand. Like, I go to a liquor store, I can't get it. So, I mean, obviously I live in New England, so like their stuff is like more popular, like obviously in the New York area. Well, I'm not New York, but you know what I mean? Yeah. And so, yeah, like a lot of people I know drink it. So they are really successful. Like, they really are. So, I mean, you know, they're not fame successful, but their drink is doing extremely well. So I don't think they feel like, she keeps bringing that argument up of like, because like she's done a lot of Bravo interviews and she's like, yeah, they're just like intimidated by my success. It's like, I don't think they really care that much, but okay. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like they have, again, just been around the block for more years than them, and they kind of have this like sustained fame, even if it's smaller. And I feel like Hannah's gonna be like splash in the pan, kind of like will fizzle out. And yeah, she just seems really, I don't know, just like annoying this season. I can't even put my like finger on it, really. Like,
yeah. And you saw that like the fight when they tried to he literally was so emotional about it because he knows that like Amanda is her good friend and he like wanted to make it better. And so he like pulled her to the side and they like have this whole argument. She's like, do you talk to me like my dad? And he's like, why are you bringing your dad into this? And she's like, don't talk to him like you. That was at like, I had to pause because I was like, did that just happen? Like, is she absolutely insane? Like, and I've been having the funniest commentary with people on like Twitter. Like, even last night, like I was just tweeting so much stuff about it. And then like, I don't know, like I was just having the funniest conversations because like Hannah has literally lost her mind. Like, what is she doing? Like you said, it's not working.
It's not working. I think like the other thing that has pissed me off about this season is her and Des posted a couple picture, like posed as a couple on Instagram pre-Summer House. I don't know if it was pre-taping or just pre-airing. I think it was pre-taping. And then on the show, obviously the producers were like, okay, well, we have to like pick up where we left off. Yeah, so you're Luke supposed situation. To be obsessed with Luke still. Can't have another boyfriend and be like completely over it. So you need to like fake care about this stuff. And like the fucking Luke, Sierra, Hannah stuff was just like so annoying. And because you know that she was already in a relationship, even this past episode, she kept being like, yeah, it's tough being long distance with Des and stuff like that. And then I'm like, but you said last episode that you
just started talking to him.
Yes.
Like, yeah. It's like, yeah.
And so then fake. He's like coming on the season and like it just seems like manufactured, where again, I feel like in seasons 1 through 4, it wasn't as manufactured as like super any organic. Other TV show.
So how do you feel about Luke though? Are you on the hate train?
Not this season. I think this season he's done like nothing wrong. I was annoyed
literally
at him.
Nothing wrong.
Like he's like literally minding his own fucking business, like chopping wood and like playing the guitar. And I also feel bad for him because he always gets shit on Reddit for like his songs. And I was like, well, he can't play real songs because they can't post it on or like they can't play it on the TV show because of like copyright. So unless they buy the like rights to it. So I'm like, he can only play his own like made up songs. But last season I thought that he was being weird. Like it felt like he was leading Hannah on and he was like, at least emotionally unavailable with his like ex and stuff, but this season I really think he has done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Until this episode, like obviously flipping out, both everyone flipping out was like absurd, but
yeah. So I tweeted about this last night. I have an issue with people saying he led her on only because yes, he's flirty and whatever, but like he fully for the whole time was like, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to, like, he said it so many times. He couldn't have made himself more clear. It's like, and he literally didn't have sex with her. Like, and like, it's kind of weird how they talk about that. They're like, yeah, he didn't have sex with you. Like, they're like mad. It's like weird. It's like, that is honestly really respectful. Like, he didn't want her to get attached, even though he probably wanted to, but he just like always had that very clear boundary. And it's like, if a guy doesn't want to sleep with me, it's kind of just like, okay, clearly you don't actually like. So it's like, I don't know what got in her head where she really thought that he was kept leading her on, because he really wasn't. He wasn't using her for sex. He never told her that he liked her. He didn't want to date her. Like, they did have a connection, and he admitted that, but he did not want to date her or like romantically be with her. Like, it was very clear. I don't know. Everyone's just like, yeah, Luke's an asshole. And I'm like, he's really not.
Yeah, he's like not my kind of guy. Like, I don't. Yeah, but like I agree with you, and you are right. Like, even when you're saying this, you're like kind of refreshing my memory that he was like, I don't want a relationship at all. Yeah. And he would like continue to flirt with her, but I really think I don't know if he does that intentionally.
Of course that can, exactly. And I know that can mess with girls' heads, and they're like, oh, you must like me, but it's like, he's telling you that he doesn't. Like, I tell girls all the time, you have to listen to what a man is saying out of his mouth. Like, that is what he means. Like, he can do all this other shit, but like what he's saying is what he means. So
I just get it, because it's like, I feel like everybody's been on that situation where the guy's like, I don't want to date, and then he's like flirting with you, and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna just look at the flirting and like completely ignore this.
We've all been there, but I think he's literally said it. I don't know, whatever, but I don't know. I just feel bad for him. And like, so Sierra obviously is a new addition to the show, and I like her, but I feel really weird about this whole situation because Hannah is literally like manipulating this girl into not liking
hating
Luke.
him. Yeah.
And it's just like so dramatic, and like the whole like girl posse, and like, yeah, can you believe Luke's a loser? Like, he tried to text me, and like, it's just so juvenile. And like, granted, Sierra's literally 24. I was shook. I was like, oh, that's 24. Really young. She's so young. Like, she's so much younger than everyone on the she's like 5 years younger than everyone on the show. Like, it was just really weird that they like casted her. So like, I mean, I get it. Like, she's like still on the younger side, and I don't know, but it was just like, I just felt bad because I genuinely feel like Luke actually wanted to pursue like a real relationship with her, and like actually would have treated her really well. And she's just like completely believing everything Hannah's saying, and she's just like so rude to him. And I'm just like, sis, like, just be his friend at least. Like, you don't have to like walk around and like have this attitude. Like, it was just so weird.
It was just really funny when he in like a confessional was like, Hannah, like, we're good friends. Like, Sierra, she's beautiful inside and out. And like,
oh my God, yes, I saw people talking about that, and I was like, oh, that didn't sound good.
It's interesting because I also agree that like maybe Sierra was like, okay, I do like Luke, and then when she was like, but I also want to fit in with this group, and then if they're all hating on Luke, like, it's maybe just easier for me to like fit in with that.
But you wouldn't be here without Luke, so it's like,
it's true,
you know.
But Sierra is gonna be on the new spin-off show Winter House, and like Luke isn't, so she has like possibly parlayed this into like a Bravo career.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like, good for her. Like, she's cool.
I also just loved when Luke retweeted, like, this is actually like the most scathing thing, but someone around Valentine's Day made like a fake Valentine. It was like something about like, if you call her burn dog, like, you're not interested in her romantically. And he retweeted it. And I was like,
oh my God.
I would just like absolutely die if this guy I pursued on TV retweeted that he like basically only thinks of me as a friend and calls me burn
too.
dog. Like,
oh my God, seriously. See, he made it clear. And
I also just found it weird when Sierra was like, don't text me after 9 p.m.
that was so dramatic.
Maybe it's like, don't text me after like midnight or something like that. But like 9 p.m., I was like, that's just like early evening. It was really weird to me.
Yeah. Like she's like, he keeps flirting with me, and he literally didn't say anything funny. he was like, just so you know, like I didn't sleep with her. And she's like, don't text me. Like it was like he wasn't flirting with you. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole thing just seems very like middle school and like, let's gang up on Luke. We hate Luke. It's like, why? Like you guys are actually so in love with him, and that it's bothering you so much. And you guys are just doing that like immature thing where you just like gang up on him because you're just like mad at him. Like I don't even know. Like it seems very familiar of like high school. And I'm not here for it. I just wish that Sierra could just be like her own person and like not, I feel like she's just trying to fit in like too much, and like it's kind of clouding her judgment a little bit.
Totally. And I feel like they just need someone to hate every season. Like in seasons 1 and 2, it was Christina, and then in seasons 3 and 4 it was like Jordan and that other girl that was on for like one season,
Julia. Oh, poor Julia.
Thing. Yes.
Poor thing.
I feel like they just like, nothing brings a group closer together than like hating on one person, which is so ugly, but like it's true.
But Jordan kind of deserved it though.
Yeah.
He was bizarre.
Yes, he was so weird.
Yeah. But yeah, Julia, poor thing. I don't. What do you think about Lindsay?
Okay, so I'm actually obsessed with Lindsay.
I love Lindsay too.
Yes, I think that she is truly the most authentic person. Like every crazy thing that comes out of her mouth, I truly believe is like her just being real, and I love it.
Yeah, she's so real. Yeah. And I was thinking like, I don't know, I just wish that she could like calm down a little bit, because I agree with every point she makes. Like everything she says is like true. Well, with Stravi, that's a difference. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to the group, like she knows that like Hannah and Paige are mean girls, like can be mean girls sometimes, and she knows that they are like immature, and like she calls it out, and they try to make her look crazy, but it's like, no, like you guys are like, she's literally right. And if she could just kind of like reel it in sometimes, she would be so powerful, because it's like she really knows what she's talking about, but she just like has such an emotional or angry response, and it just kind of like defeats her like argument sometimes, you know?
Totally. And I think that's same with Amanda too. Like Amanda often is right, I think, but the way that she delivers the message, like it just never lands with people, and
like whining or like crying.
Yes. It just doesn't land.
She's such a sweetheart, but like it was really annoying to watch her like fight with Hannah and just like cry. It was like, sis, like just stand up for yourself and just like tell her that she's dead wrong. Like I don't know, it was really weird to see how weak she would get with Hannah, and like Hannah would be like the mean one, and I was like, this is not the dynamic I expected at all. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that comes from the history, which you'll see when you watch it, because like Lindsay and the other girls that were there prior didn't like Amanda, and they like all unfollowed her on Instagram and stuff like that. And then
oh my God.
I think that when Paige and Hannah came in, Amanda was like, okay, these can be like my girls now. And then
that makes sense.
I feel like she always just like tries to not make Paige and Hannah upset, even though they're being assholes.
Yeah, that's like her squad in the house, I guess.
Totally.
Well, she thinks they are, but I don't know. Hannah doesn't seem like a very good friend to me.
Yeah, I don't think she really likes anyone other than Paige. And it seems like even Paige has been kind of trying to distance herself from Hannah. Like apparently she found out about her and Dez's engagement via social media, which is like really awkward, I find.
Yeah, I don't think they're as good as friends as they act on the show. I mean, I'm such an annoying astrology girl, but like they are like a Scorpio and Leo. It's like it's not like really like the strongest like type of match, because like both of them want to have like the power, and like I just feel like there's a lot of power dynamics. And I also saw that because you see like on pages like confessionals, she'll say like little digs about Hannah, or like just be like, yeah, like Hannah's being crazy, or like I think Paige said she's too big for her bridges, and I was like, yes, Paige, thank you, because I get so annoyed when Paige always stands up for Hannah. And then I saw a like what I don't know if it was Watch What Happens Live. It was like an interview with like Hannah and Des, and they literally asked her like, "Did you see what Paige said about you?" And she was like, "Yes, that hurt me so much because yes, I am successful." And like she gave this like really insane answer, and it was like so annoying, and it kind of made it seem like they like were having a little trouble, but then they're still doing the podcast, so it's kind of like, I don't know what's happening here. I just want everyone to be their own person. Like I want Sierra to be her own person. I want Paige to be her own person. Like,
yes,
we don't need to like sip whatever Hannah's crazy Kool-Aid she got going on, because like it's not working. You guys look really bad and like really immature.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like I love how Lindsay and Danielle just like they're just like, oh, okay, they're being crazy again. Like
I know
they don't even care. Like Danielle's the most chill person alive. Like if I could just have an ounce of her chill, I'd just be like a happier person.
Same. She's the one person in the house that I'm like, we could be friends.
Yeah.
I would want to be friends with Danielle. Obviously, I'd want to be friends with like Lindsay and stuff, but like Danielle just seems like,
a normal person.
Yes, a normal person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that, again, I haven't listened to Giggly Squad, but I think that Hannah and Paige understand that that's like probably one of their most like lucrative career moves is to continue this, because again, when I'm deep diving on the Reddit, people say like, oh, did you notice how like snarky they were at each other and stuff? So I'm really interested to see like what happens with that, because it's just really interesting, because I just thought that they were like ride or die, and maybe they aren't.
Yeah, I'm seeing some cracks.
One last thing I wanted to ask you is, what did you think about Kyle saying Luke loves control over females, in quote, which I hate when men call women females. But
yeah, right.
That's besides the point.
I thought I was the only one. I'm like, ew, can you stop saying females? I was like, thought that was so gross.
Yes.
So that argument, and obviously we're gonna see like how it really unfolds next week. But it was all very strange and ridiculous, because talk about calling the kettle black. Like, between Carl and Kyle, like the women they have messed over publicly on this show for years now is like insane. So the fact, I think it honestly stems from obviously being intoxicated, like drinking too much. They didn't even know what they were talking about. Second of all, I think it was honestly like a little bit of jealousy. Like they're mad that all these girls are so worked up over Luke. And, you know, I feel like they've never really bonded with him, because like Luke is like hot and like a model, and like I feel like they liked Stravi more than they liked Luke, you know?
Yeah.
So I always thought that dynamic was really bizarre. So I just feel like there was a lot of underlying feelings anyway. Like they just don't really like him. And then so now they had like an excuse. And I think Carl was trying to just be like the savior and like try to like look good in front of Sierra, because he knew that Sierra was not into like him right now. And he was like, I'm going to start a fight and tell him that he's an asshole. And like, I don't know. I feel like he's probably just trying to get in Sierra's pants, honestly. And like, I don't think any of them really feel that strongly about it, but I think that they were just drunk and they just wanted to start a fight and like look cool or something.
It seems like Carl and Kyle, like they have been the worst over the last couple of seasons, and now that they're like older and wiser and like treat people better, I feel like they think that they can like now call out that type of behavior, like that they're so like
weird,
better than that. But I do wonder, like, does Luke, I don't know what the answer is, but does Luke use flirting and then in turn the girl starts to like him? Does he use that as like a power move, like what Kyle is saying? I don't think that that's what happened with Hannah, but I do get that could be something that like he is used in his life.
I see Luke as someone who is from like the Midwest, and he's like really nice, because it's like a stereotype, like they're just like nice guys out there. But I think he wants to be liked and validated.
Yeah,
for sure. So he obviously sees that when he's nice to women, it gets like a good reaction from them. And he just wants to be validated. And I don't really think it's a power thing. It's more of just like, I want everyone to like me, trying to win every girl over. And I think that was what happened with Hannah last season. It was like they did flirt and she like wasn't interested. So he was like, I need to like win her over. He didn't actually want her. He just wanted to win her over. And I know many guys like that, but that's a whole nother story. But I don't know. I just feel like it is harmless, but obviously it like messes with people's heads a lot.
Totally. Yeah, I see that. Do you have any predictions for the rest of the season?
I really like where Kyle and Amanda are at. I know they've been through a lot, but I think they're like really cute. So I just hope that they stay like in this solid place that they're in now. I think Luke might leave the house. I feel like he should leave the house at this point because he literally has no friends. I don't know how they're going to kind of move past this big fight that we're going to see next week. But yeah, I'll definitely be watching. I'm excited. So.
Me too. Yeah, those are good predictions. I think the one that I'll add is it seems like Paige breaks up with her boyfriend and then hooks up with Carl. And I like low-key kind of love that.
Yeah, I like that. And because I liked when Paige first came on and Carl liked her. And I was like, oh,
Me
they'd be
too.
cute. And they have like really good banter and stuff. Just kind of like he wasn't in the right place. But I think now he definitely is.
Yes.
And I think that if they can get it together, like they would be like great. I love Perry. I think he's so hot. And I think he's like the best. I don't know why she doesn't like him. Like he literally wants to marry her. And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Can I have him? So
he's
it's just
so
funny.
hot and he's rich and he owns like a bunch of restaurants.
Exactly.
I remember when COVID like first kicked off, he did like a bunch of like he donated a bunch of dinners to like New York hospitals and stuff. So I'm really fascinated to see where or like how their relationship dissolves. That's so ugly to say.
Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, they're still friends because like on the Giggly Squad, like she'll talk about him, but like they're just not together. So
yeah, I heard her say on Danny Pellegrino's podcast that they're still friends. So and they were friends before they started dating. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense to me. But yeah, I really liked her and Carl together.
Do you think they're dating now and they're just keeping it a secret?
I don't know.
Kyle, Amanda, Carl, and Paige took a picture together that I saw, and they were like at dinner, and I was like, interesting.
Yes, I saw that too. I have no idea because I feel like that would be something really hard to keep a secret. Also, this Winter House spinoff, Paige is on it. I don't think Carl is. I think it's Kyle and Amanda, Paige, Sierra, Lindsay, and then Craig and Austin from Southern Charm. I'm curious to see what unfolds with that too, because I think Paige was maybe linked to Craig or Austin. I don't really know those. I don't want Southern Charm.
Yeah, me either. I feel like I need to get into it because there's a lot of drama that comes from that show too. The A-Rod situation.
Yes, I tried one episode and I just could not do it.
Yeah.
But I wish I could because it seems really interesting.
Last thing I just want to hit on is like Lindsay. Like I feel bad for her. Like obviously, you know, she's 34. She like has this plan. Like she wants to like get married, have babies. Like, what do you feel about that? Or like, do you think she should have let Starvey go? Yeah, am I saying it right? Stravy. Okay,
Stravy. I literally have no idea. Steven. Yeah. Yes, she's always like Steven. Like,
yeah.
But okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually like don't fault her at all. If you want to have babies and you're 34, like I just feel like it can get challenging. Like it's still obviously possible, but you might have to like do extra steps and stuff. And
definitely,
I totally get if you want marriage and kids that you would be panicked and maybe try to enforce a tight timeline that you wouldn't have when you were like 25. Like I get that.
So do you feel like she should have tried to make it work with him? Because it like I was struggling because it's like he's not a bad guy like by any means, and it's kind of like I don't know, I'm not saying anyone should settle, but I don't really feel like she was settling. You know?
No. And like I read the PowerPoint. Oh my god. which I thought was so funny. But I read the PowerPoint like in more detail, and honestly, it was all communication stuff that was like easily worked on. And I think that that's sometimes the tough thing I have with people is like when sometimes you just know and that's fine, or sometimes there's deal breakers, but it seemed like all the things that they listed that were wrong to us, at least, were things that they could work on. So I'm wondering if there was like more going on that they didn't tell us, because it just seemed like those things either person could have worked on and they could have just stayed together. But I wonder if there was like an underlying thing, because Danielle was saying when they were talking together, like, oh, like I don't see this for you and stuff. And so I just wonder if there's something else.
Yeah, there's definitely probably more we don't see.
Yeah, but it was so weird how she was just like on the beach, so nonchalant, like, yeah, I think we should just go our separate ways. And then she just goes back to like the bonfire, like, and just like acts like nothing's wrong. So
literally nothing's wrong. I know.
And maybe that's also a sign that she like basically didn't give a shit.
Didn't really love him. Yeah.
Well, it was nice doing a deep dive into Summer House. It's such a fun show.
I know, it was so fun.
If you don't watch it, you definitely should. It's really light and fun, even though they talk about some serious things, but it's really, really fun. And it's a good getaway quarantine show.
Yes, 100%. It's like one of my faves.
Thank you so much for coming on. And where can the listeners find you?
Yeah, you can find my podcast, Lisa Rants Podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts. My Instagram at Lisa Rants, and yeah, lisarants.com.
Well, thanks again so much for coming on.
Thank you. I always love chatting with you.
Oof, we're not done yet. I wanted to add my thoughts on episode 9 because it came out after we recorded this episode of RTBP. I was really surprised at how quickly all of the guys apologized to each other. That was really surprising to me, and I thought that they all did a really good job of communicating, like they were really listening to each other, and it seemed like they were taking what each other was saying to heart. But I still think that they put way too much onus on Luke, and I don't think that Kyle and Carl really apologized enough because they equally flew off the handle. It wasn't just him. It was all three of them contributing, but they kind of put that all on Luke. And I also want to applaud Luke for his apology. I thought it was also really heartfelt and telling us about his family and just more about how he grew up really made me feel empathy towards him. And then, of course, the bombshell at the end with Stravy, still don't remember how to pronounce it, but with Steven showing up at the end, doing a big, grand rom-com gesture for Lindsay. So we'll see how that turns out. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much, Lisa, for joining me today. If you liked today's episode, follow along on social media at RTBP Podcast. And you can leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. I hope you're staying safe and well out there. As always, I'm your host, Tori, and I am ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.